A man who fears pain more than failure will taste both. I think that's very, very interesting to be able to say that. I did not come up with that quote, but I could only imagine what that person had went through to be able to say that. The man who fears pain more than failure will taste both. To add to that, I also think that the man who fears failure will actually come to spend more time with it. So what that initial quote and that statement means to me is when you can't, when the embarrassment or the failure or just the pain that something is going to put you through, when those things now begin to affect your decision making and essentially your performance in whatever area of life, I do not think any good comes from it, and it actually limits you in a way. For instance, remember a couple years ago, I was out and I was asked what my biggest fear was. And for a while, my biggest fear was just failing. And that, in a way, limited me. It limited what I was willing to do, the decisions I was willing to make, and I wanted to be what I thought was successful, but when it's to me, it's very similar to I'm driving right now, of course, but let's say there's a big pothole, and if I'm like, don't hit that pothole, don't hit that pothole, don't hit that pothole, I'm probably gonna hit it, ironically enough. The only way for me to actually avoid hitting that pothole is to set my eyes and target something else. There's a pothole here. Maybe it'll be okay. Well, let me aim to go towards the sign or something like that, just to avoid the pothole. But point being is strictly focusing on avoiding something, and that's the only goal, in some way can actually bring you closer to it or keep you around it. So the person who fears the pain, the person who fears the failure, just speaking from my own experience, that's all I was thinking about, just not failing. It wasn't necessarily what I should be doing, what I should not be doing. Let me focus on this. For a while, my whole thing was like, I just don't want to fail. But I think in a way, it kept me down a little bit. Now, I honestly have tried to shift and let my biggest fear now be just not trying or not actively going for something. These videos, depending on who you ask and what their goals are, they could say it's a failure or success. For me, doing this, taking the time and recording, it's a success. I don't view it as a failure, because my goal is to do the thing, right? Record the video, do the work, and let whatever outcome happen. Now, if my goal was for this video to get like 100 views, I upload it tomorrow, nothing happens, week, nothing happens, then now you can see how I could view that as a failure, which would then possibly limit me from going through and proceeding forward. So, to sum things up, whatever the thing is, right, that you could say is your purpose, is your calling, whatever you feel like you need to be doing, if it's truly for the right reasons, I say just fucking go for it, right? If I was just using my own personal examples again, if my goal was to become a millionaire off of YouTube or off of these videos, I don't think that's the proper motivation to be doing these things, right? And so therefore, I don't think it's aligned with your purpose or with my purpose. And I don't think the motivation is right. So I think in general, by default, it's going to be very easy to give up on, as well as to not care about. Because now the next thing that comes along that will offer me a potential at money or whatever I may be pursuing, I'll just jump to that. And kind of stay stuck in this pattern of jumping and jumping and jumping. Compared to when you're doing it for the right reasons and you've aligned your perspective of success with simply the action, you could do complete dog shit, put out complete dog shit, but I still think you're successful. And that's something that I hope people can keep in mind. The action and the input, I believe, is far more important than the outcome, because that action and input is honestly like the only thing you can control.